Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Keisha King Show, where we discuss faith, culture, and politics, all geared towards the next generation.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This time.
Are you ready to get down?
ladies and gentlemen,
Well, today we're going to be talking about Christian Walker and his father, Herschel Walker, and the Georgia Senate race. So, from the beginning, let me say I kind of have two perspectives on this. I'm going to discuss sort of social side of it, sort of the family relationship side of this whole debacle, and then I'm also going to discuss the political side of this situation. So I saw the video that Christian Walker put out, and first, let me back up. I saw some comments and things that people were saying about Herschel and his son and and then I went to go watch the video. And so I got into like a little back and forth about just my thoughts. And I thought I needed to further give my thoughts on this. I don't know. This has really been sitting with me. I don't know why this is really bothering me so bad. So let's just go ahead and play what Christian Walker said. For those who have not seen it, let's show this.
I stayed silent as the atrocities committed against my mom were downplayed. I stayed silent when it came out that my father, Herschel Walker, had all these random kids across the country, none of whom he raised. And you know my favorite issue to talk about is father absence. Surprise, because it affected me. That's why I talk about it all the time, because it affected me. Family values, people. He has 4 kids, 4 different women, wasn't in the house raising one of them. He was out having sex with other women. Do you care about family values? I was silent, lie after lie after lie. The abortion card drops yesterday. It's literally his handwriting in the card. They say they have receipts, whatever. He gets on Twitter. He lies about it. Okay, I'm done. Done. Everything has been a lie. And so for the right to say I'm being suspicious for saying, hey, I'm done with the lies, when you all have been calling me saying, is this true about your dad? Gosh, we're not going to win Georgia, this candidate, all that's been you. You have no idea what I've been through in my life. You have no idea what me and my mom have survived. We could have ended this on day one. We haven't. I haven't told any stories. I'm just saying, don't lie. Don't lie on my mom. Don't lie on me. Don't lie on the lives you've destroyed and act like you're some moral family man. Y'all should care about that, conservatives. And then for people on the left to act as though I'm responsible for all of the things that he has done. I've talked about father absence. I've talked all these issues because they've been close to me, because they matter to me, because I went through it. That's why I've talked about it. So when you say, well, talk about your dad, but I'm saying this behavior is atrocious. Don't come for me. You don't have to like my politics. You don't have to like me. You don't have to. I'm just saying I'm done with the lies. We were told at the beginning of this, he was going to get ahead of his past, hold himself accountable, all of these different things, and that would have been fine. Go ahead. He didn't do any of that. Everything's been a lie. Everything's been downplayed. Everything's been cutting corners. The whole thing. And whose expense is that at? Me, my mom, as we're chased down by the media, we're terrorized, all these different things. People are questioning my authenticity. I'm done. Don't lie. Don't put this on me. This is a candidate issue, not a me issue. I wouldn't have spoken out if there weren't all these lies every day. More things I have to address, and then I'm done with this buffoonery nutjob land. This is atrocious. People on the right are pulling up that I did a campaign event with my dad last year, and they're saying, well, you supported them all last year and all this year. You look suspicious. No. You all have been calling me saying, why aren't you on the campaign trail with your dad? Why aren't you helping him out? This looks weird. You should go help him. And I've said to you calmly, I'm not getting involved. You don't know my family life. I did one event last year when we were told he was going to get ahead of his past and hold himself accountable. None of that happened. Everything's been a lie. So for me to tell you I'm not getting involved, and then you also be flooding my DMs and calling me saying, I didn't know all this about your dad. We're going to lose the Senate race. And then when I simply say, I'm done with the lies, you go, well, Christian looks suspicious. Excuse me? I haven't told one story about what I experienced with him. I'm just simply saying, don't lie. And then for certain political pundits to be pulling up old pictures I posted of my dad, thinking they can police and determine what my relationship with my dad was. If you want to pull stuff up, I'll pull stuff up. Don't try me. Don't test my authenticity. All of this has been a lie, and you've known it. You've known. So don't you dare. And then to the left, who says, well, he did all this to your mom and you were still with them. And, that's weird. You know nothing about my life. My parents went through a dirty divorce. I went through a lot as a child. And you don't know anything. You don't know the ebbs and flows of our relationship. Nobody knows anything. So for everyone making these wild theories and whatever, that's crazy. This is about a bunch of lies. Again, if I had an issue with whatever, I could have ended this table. That's not my intention. My intention is don't lie about your life at the expense of me, my mom, and all of the people that you've affected throughout your life. You don't get to pretend you're some moral family guy. You don't get to pretend all these things. Talk policy, talk normal. Do not lie.
Well, you've seen that and you heard that. So what I said yesterday on Twitter, I said that, I certainly can understand the impact of not having your father in the home. I can very much relate to that because my father was in my life for a period of time and then he was not. And we later reconciled before he passed away. We were able to reconcile and had a good decade or so of great memories. And there's nothing bad that I will say about my father. Nothing. Even with all of the things that I know he did, all of the things that my mother went through. Me and my dad, when he passed, we were good. We were absolutely good. So the first part about this is children. And the reason why I'm speaking so passionately, and I think because what I went through as a child, I was very close to my father growing up. And so when my parents got divorced, it was very hard on me. I bought Hershel's book. This is what I've done today because I'm like, okay, I need to this is really bothering me. Anyway, bought his book, read the book. He was married to Christian's mother for almost 20 years. Christian was born in 1999. I think maybe they got a divorce maybe like 3 years later. So my situation was a little bit different. I was, my parents got a divorce when I was 13. And my dad was still, he was, they had separated and he was kind of in and out. And so I understand this, the impact. So I'm not trying to minimize that. I'm not trying to minimize what the hurt and the pain I saw my mother go through when she knew that the infidelity, the possibility of other children. I know all too well this story. And what bothers me is, number one, as you get older and you start to understand the intricacies of a marriage, especially when you've been married, and then you have children who want to come and comment on the intricacies of a marriage, I have a problem with that because there were things. Now, my mother was always very respectful of my dad. Like, she didn't bash him and she didn't do all of those kinds of things, which I was really grateful for. And my, still, as we got older, there were things that my mom said, as we got older. And when I say older, I mean like adults, when she would, divulge different things. It created a certain scenario and a certain thought about my father that it was a one-sided view. I'm not saying this is what happened with Christian's family. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying that it's just how things work. You cannot possibly know what goes on in a marriage as a child. You don't know that. And so it is best and wise for you to zip your lips when there's no way for you to know. Now, as I got older, I start to have these conversations with my father. And I said, Dad, well, what about this? Oh, well, that your mom's such and such and such. Oh, really? Well, I didn't know that. Um, or you start to find out different things about both of your parents. Now, I love my mother, I love my father. That's fine. But there is a saying that I coined when I was 19 years old. People are people first. The titles come later. So the dad, the expectation of dad that you will have as a child is a totally different expectation that he will have as husband. The expectation of wife is different than than a woman has of mom. Totally different relationships. You are not going to experience the same thing that you do with your father that your mother experiences with her husband. Totally different. Those people that carry those titles, they are people first. They come with their own baggage, they come with their own family history, they come with their own the struggles that they have to come deal with. We are all our own selves and our own experiences before we become a mother, a wife, or whatever. And those are things that you have to work through. Now, it's not excusing bad behavior because I can hear it now. I can hear the click clacking on the keyboard right now. Oh, but you're excusing Hershel's behavior. No, I'm not. No, I am not. I don't excuse or condone not being there for your children. I don't excuse or condone abuse. I don't excuse or condone violence. I don't excuse or condone any of that. I can condemn those things. And I can also look and see that Christian's view, he's not going to have the whole view. He's not going to get the full story. And for him to go on social media, because this was the argument. Well, clearly Christian is going through things, and this is just a way for him to, he was just tired of the lies. And okay, well, how is posting this on Twitter gonna build a better relationship with your father? Sometimes it is wise to exercise wisdom. And you coming out and saying that you're tired of the lies and da 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 da, and you just don't do this and all of that. How is that going to build? How is that going to better the relationship between you and your father, if that's what you're really after? If the goal is for him to deal with what he's done and to get ahead of his past or whatever. And in the book, he does talk about those things. He talks about how he was selfish. He talks about how he left his wife and she had every right to leave. He talks about an affair. I don't know. The book was written in 2008 or 9 or something like that. So there's a long time in between that a lot of things have happened. I think he has a 10-year-old son, so that was after his marriage. The 13-year-old son, yes, that was after his marriage. And this older, I guess there is an adult child. It sounds like that was before he got married. So there's some nuance here that I think it sounds all convoluted, because the way it sounds is that, according to Christian, he was out here just wilding in the streets when he was married. I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm saying those children seem to be outside of when he was married. That's all I'm saying. It appears to be that way. Looking at the story that I read today, how old they are, 2022, when he was married and when he was divorced. That's all I'm saying. Okay? My point is, relationship wise, social wise, talking about these things, sometimes children need to stay in children's places. You don't have no business talking about your parents' marriage in a public setting when you couldn't possibly know the intimate and intricate details of a marriage, young man. You couldn't possibly. And there is things that your mama probably did that you might not know until maybe you might not never know. And there were things that your father did. That's just how it goes. That's life. So we really have to, I think, step back and really kind of look at this. If the goal is for a better relationship with your father, why in the world would you be blasting stuff like that on social media? Twitter therapy ain't the move, is what I said in one of my tweets. And it's not. Trying, what are you going to, you don't know these people. You have 286,000 followers. You do not know these people. They are not your friend. You don't know them. You don't know them. So you don't know these people. So it would be wise to be careful about the what you say about your family, because at the end of the day, it's his name that you bear. It's because your parents brought you into this world. And we can look back and say that our parents did some awful things, allowed some things to happen, didn't do what they were supposed to do. He says in the book that he struggles with some kind of mental illness. I have seen up close and personal what mental illness can do to a family. It is very, very traumatic. So we all come with all these things. And so I would just urge everybody, before we start to condemn people, one thing that I got from his book, he has always been a devout Christian. And I can hear the keyboards clacking away right now. Well, Christians don't do this. Let me tell you something. It's because we know that we're flawed is why we cling to the Savior. It's because we know that we cannot get this right. That's the message of the gospel, that we are imperfect. We're going to do some awful things. Paul, David, some of the most prolific writers in the Bible all came heavily flawed, heavily. You would throw them away. You would treat them worse than Hershel. You would throw them away. You wouldn't. Moses killed somebody. Okay? And God used him to present the 10 commandments. So King David, talk about a bad father. The Bible is just, and I believe that God shows us these things so we can realize the depths of the flaws of our own humanity. Anyway, my point is, we don't know Hershel, and we can all sit and point fingers, but I guarantee you it's some stuff that you've done that you can look back that you probably don't want nobody to know about. That if we were to lay them out side by side, there'll be some things that he did better than you, and there'll be some things that you did better than him. But we all need grace. We do. We all need grace. And I'm not saying that excuses anything, because the Bible does not say that. You do have to be accountable, and you cannot fully enjoy. You cannot even come to God if you don't repent. So your heart has to be changed. But he talks a lot about that in his book. Anyway, the political side to this. So first of all, let me say, I live in Florida. I can't vote for Hershel, and I have no dog in the fight. I am not one of these Republicans, because I saw this too. Oh, Republicans just want, if they're Republican, you're just gonna vote for them. First of all, that's not how I roll. I have not voted because I have not voted for a Republican because I have not agreed with their politics, and I knew they was on some nonsense. So I'm not one of those people. So you can save that for somebody else, because that ain't me. Okay. Number two, in that, I also looked at the landscape. Okay, if this seat does go to a Democrat, what is it going to be? Okay, because the person that they were running up against, you sure did not want that type of mentality to be in this seat. I looked at it. The Republicans had the majority. This particular seat was not going to make a difference in the voting, in the majority vote. Anyway, and I think you do have to think about that when you're thinking about things politically, because right now the climate in Congress, first of all, I think Congress is, rot. So there's not much you can do when you're not in the party of power. Anyway, I do hope they win because the federal government is doing some really despicable things, like 87,000 IRS agents, like this Ukraine stuff. There are a lot of things that I think should be stopped by the Biden administration. Do I want Raphael Warnock, who has voted for Joe Biden 96% of the time, meaning all of these laws that Biden is passing, Warnock is supporting 96% of the time? Of course, I want a conservative to be in that seat. I'm not saying that you have to um sacrifice your values to do that, but when I think politically, when you look at it as a whole, yeah, I think he's definitely Herschel will be a will be a much better uh senator than Warnock. That's just because I mean, just reading his book, listening to him, I do believe that he has tried, obviously I don't know the man, but he has tried to somewhat um apologize and repent for those things according to the book. This is just hearsay. This is just according to the book. And just listening to, some of the things that he said over the years. I believe that he will stand on his values and those political values. But who knows? I mean, people go to Congress and do crazy things all the time, or get elected and do crazy things all the time. So I do think that this is an instance where it really does matter who gets the seat, because the Senate is very thin. It's like 50-50 right now. So we really need, or 50-50 right now. We really conservatives really do need that. We need every seat we can get, basically. So it's just that I think you have to look at it as a whole, election by election. Okay, do we really want the left to get this seat right now? I don't think we can sacrifice that. They are literally sending America off a freaking cliff. So yeah, but those are my two perspectives on this crazy story. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please like, please share, and please subscribe to my channel. As always, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.